In Mob of the Dead, how you cycle through the early rounds is usually a key determinant of how the rest of your game is going to go. This is due to the map's unique Afterlife mode, which is used to navigate through hidden doors and rooms. These contain switches and voltmeters that will help you unlock even more of the map once shocked. Also, this map is literally Alcatraz, an island prison, so it's expected to feature tight and narrow corridors. This creates a skill gap progression we've rarely seen in zombies. The match transforms from one of the hardest early games into one of the easiest, I say this in quotations, late games, defined by a steep exponential curve. That curve is driven almost entirely by three key pieces of equipment you can obtain and when you obtain them. These are the Golden Spork, the Acid Gat, and the Hell's Retriever. The Golden Sporks and Acid Gat's prerequisites, the Silver Spoon and the Blundergat respectively, can only be obtained by using the Hell's Retriever.
I'm coming for you at 7 to 3.
This makes the Hell's Retriever a vital early game priority, though it isn't exactly cheap. To claim it, you must feed the 3 Cerberus heads located in the cell block, the infirmary, and the docks. It takes a minimum of 10,000 points to open all of the necessary doors. While being slightly lenient due to the point requirement for such a feat, rounds 7 to 10 are when the developers expected most players to start acquiring the weapon. Assuming that each kill a player gets is a 1-bullet, lethal torso hit, this generates 60 points per kill. At 181 zombies faced by the completion of round 10, this would yield 10,860 points, enough to open all the doors with some change. However, if we get the Hell's Retriever so late, this makes the other equipment less effective because the spoon, for example, it's a lethal melee until round 11 by default. So if we're getting it on round 9 or 10, then we only have a round or two to use the spoon. So that makes it a lot less effective. So this then raises the quintessential question: how early could we get the Hell's Retriever? As a starting point, I hopped into a game and I was able to get it comfortably on round 5. Well, maybe comfortably is not the right C word to use, but round 5 is still rather quick. A total of 45 zombies, and since each Cerberus head requires 6 souls, that's 18 out of a possible 45 undead dedicated to Hellhound feeding. The hardest kill to achieve is a lethal melee, where it takes as many swipes as there are rounds. With 45 zombies, that's only 5,850 points. A common tactic to further increase points is to use a weak weapon like the M19 Lemon starting pistol that both softens and maximizes the EV for each zombie. Each bullet hit is worth 10 points, and the lethal melee is 130 points. Assuming all 8 bullets within the magazine are hits, and your knife sinks the zombie battleship, that is only 9,450 points. So, we're going to need to get a bit creative. Let me introduce mechanic number 1, power-ups. Power-ups are unique benefits that historically only appear when a zombie is killed by a player. Once they appear, players have 30 seconds to claim them before they begin to rapidly blip before disappearing. Without going too into depth, the icons portraying each benefit are pretty recognizable, if not self-explanatory. In Mob of the Dead, there are 3 locations where power-ups are permanently fixed, and it only takes one individual with a spectral ambition to claim their prize. This brings us to the map's most important mechanic, Afterlife. Traditionally, players would open doors with only points, and said points could purchase a perk called Quick Revive, which, in a solo setting, would revive you in replacement of your teammates. In Mob of the Dead, these fundamentals are merged. You begin with the maximum capacity of 3 charges, regenerating 1 per round. its strategic importance for this run is pretty much immediate. Right after buying the first door, you must use it to shock a generator containing the warden's key and power a specific voltmeter to unlock the showers. Two things to note here. I would also recommend shocking the voltmeter in the middle of the cell block that contains the double points permanent power-up, and the warden's key only has a chance of spawning on the cafeteria side, so you might need to keep restarting your game until it eventually spawns there. After grabbing the warden's key, unlock the door in the showers and use a second afterlife to power the voltmeter connecting our final mechanic to be introduced, the laundry machine. Its contents do not concern us for this video, only the process. Starting the cycle triggers a steamy lockdown that spawns a large wave of zombies. Crucially, these zombies won't despawn after the lockdown ends as long as you stay close and keep them focused on you. By timing this with the permanent double points located within the cell block, you can generate an early foundation of points, and then lead the survivors away to feed the dogs. Or you can kill them all, and use the later rounds to feed the dogs. Then, pretty much either way, you would purchase the remaining doors and clean up at the docks. To slightly sidetrack, I was originally going to conclude this section by saying, and now we've achieved round 4, and show my photographical evidence for when I achieved a round 4 tomahawk. But while filming extra sections for this video, I actually experienced a game where I got really lucky with double points and nukes, and I accidentally achieved a round 3 Hell's Retriever. And that brings up an important point. While there is somewhat an expected reliable strategy that you can execute to gain these early round Hell Retrievers, there is a surprising amount of luck involved as well, and I wanted to take this chance to affirm that the ethos, the zeitgeist of this challenge is not in the reliability of this strategy, but rather, is it doable?
Was it something I did?
But there is a way to increase your chances of getting it on round 3. First, we spawn in, check that the warden's key has spawned in the cafeteria, and
That's not material that's been covered in the textbook.
I have to apologize, but I have been omitting critical information in regards to the afterlife mechanic. For those who are unaware, there is a certain exploit that can allow players to rapidly pace throughout the map. If you cook a grenade with afterlife, you can down yourself. This is not new information. You'll appear as a special state and you can revive yourself. But if you cook a grenade and position yourself near one of the white doors of the map, there is a small window between when you die from the grenade and when you make contact with the ground, confirming your death. Within this small window, you can interact with the door and purchase it entirely for free. Instead of wasting bullets and precious zombies at the start of round 1, this means you can have the cafeteria portion of the cell block and the showers open within a minute and a half without any kills. All it costs are 2 grenades and 2 afterlives. But I will warn you, the power you are able to wield is very corrupting. It will fundamentally alter how you view Mob of the Dead, and I must personally admit that despite reverting back to a more classic playstyle when I play this map, the forest sometimes still calls. You have been warned. The following process will be a combination of all the previously mentioned mechanics. You use the second grenade that you spawn in with on round 1 to down yourself and purchase the white door in the showers with an aforementioned limited amount of funds, and use that second afterlife to shock the voltmeter powering the laundry machine. This is up to you, but you can also grab the double points that are permanently fixed in the cell block cafeteria section. I'm not too sure on this method though, because It uses up most of your afterlife, and if you don't revive yourself before the afterlife timer expires, you die. And also, if you do manage to revive yourself, you get like 10 seconds worth of double points. So I'm not sure if it's needed entirely, but if you grab the double points, you can use a few of the M1911 mags to shoot zombies in the legs. You can chain a good amount of points early on, so that is up to you. You are looking to get the minimum number of kills needed to reach 2,000 points, which is how much it costs to enter the infirmary from the cell block or the cafeteria side. I tend to save every zombie afterwards and have the rest of that horde follow me to the infirmary. I also prefer to have 2 spare magazines with the 1911 entering said infirmary. The infirmary hosts the first dog we will feed, and it is arguably the most dangerous of the 3 locations. You can have anywhere between 6 to 18 post-laundry machine zombies, just depending on how many you keep alive, follow you into this room where there's not much usable space. There's a lot of props that you can get caught on, but it also presents an opportunity where if you have any spare magazines remaining, so I usually keep 2 going into the infirmary, but if you have any spare magazines remaining, you can manipulate the zombies following you into a line. And I only do it while they're in the viable space that the dog could, vacuum them into its mouth and chomp on them. So, manipulating them into this linear chain, you just fire and every bullet hit. And if they're in a chain, then each zombie that gets hit counts for more points. So if you have 6 zombies, 6 hits, you're looking at 360 points. Like, let's say you miss 2 shots. If you have 80, then of course it's 480 points that you're looking at if you hit every single shot in the leg. I mean, after the infirmary, you've spent 2,000 points. You're still looking at 5,000 points of remaining doors. So, yeah, you're going to want to chip away at that total. But you'll need to be careful on how you do this because for whatever reason, the game loves, after the laundry machine, it loves to throw hidden nukes your way. And what I mean by this is there will just be a ton of zombies that have the nuke power up within them. It doesn't matter round 1 or round 2. The game loves to do it. So make sure you're backward swiping. But I mainly warn this for Series X players because the game operates almost too well on this machine, and it'll thrust you forward anyways, despite you pulling back on the stick. So yeah, just be careful because if you go down, or if you get a new power-up, they are both an immediate run ender, and you'll need to restart. There's no way you can physically get a tomahawk earlier because you will need those. So, yeah. A word of caution. Cue the very, very, very fun process again, because you will take any remaining infirmary zombies, so the zombies that you previously led from the showers or the laundry machine process. So you led those to the infirmary. You will now lead any remaining zombies to the cell block Cerberus head, where you can't purchase any doors that shorten your trip to that. You have to navigate all the zombies around spawn, and as I mentioned before, it's very fun. You have to stay near the zombies. You'll not be able to go down, so you can't be an idiot. And then there's this other thing where there's a few zombies that are sometimes faster. Not so fast that you can't, manipulate them, but they're faster than the rest of the line. So you just have this inconsistent spacing, and potentially you might lose some of your zombies just because they get left behind. But there is a trick that you can use against this. If you let those faster zombies, you'll know exactly which ones I'm talking about if you play through it sometimes. If you let them take a swipe at you, you can actually change their aggro state. It gets assigned a random one, but there's a chance that you have them take a swipe at you and they'll actually slow down. So this might actually help you to handle that train of zombies. But yes, you will lead all of them. It requires a great deal of patience from the infirmary while they're all walking at round 1 pace, or round whatever, to the cell lock. But in the end, this is very important, you will need at least 2,500 points. You will also need 2 afterlives and 2 grenades, so make sure not to accidentally throw any grenades. You will need 4 total because you get 2 with round 1. You get 3 afterlives with round 1 as well because you start the game. You will be giving yourself a spectral discount on 2 future doors, and because there are only 8 zombies on round 2, that means if you are in a bit of financial trouble, you only get 1 zombie as extra change. And if you were wondering why I'm saying only 1 and not 2, because you need 6 to feed a dog fully, and there's 8 zombies, because if you kill off that 8 zombie for the dog, then the round ends. And technically, you don't get your round 2 Hell's Retriever. You have a round 3 Hell's Retriever. And that matters a lot in terms of the pacing of your game. But if you have 3,000 points somehow by the end of round 1, I would highly consider purchasing an M14 from the wall, because the dogs can get a little dangerous. So I was going to feed you some nonsense here, telling you which specific doors to open. It's not the truth. You can open any of the doors with the free door strat. You're just going to have to use a little bit of critical thinking in terms of which doors you want to open, knowing that the spiral staircase doors are 1,000 points each, and the generator doors and the door leading to the dock are 1,500 points. So that's 5,000 points. But, yeah. When you're feeding the dog eventually, once again, watch out for the kabooms. I personally use the M14 to dispatch the remaining zombies from a distance to avoid any new power-ups, because by this time I've tried this round to run many times, a good number of times, not too many, but enough where I was either an idiot or I got a new power-up. So I was getting frustrated in my patience being tested at this point. But yeah, watch out for the kabooms. And if you have the luxury of using the M14, I would highly recommend it, just so you're able to dispatch them from a distance. But when I heard that final dog howl, I ran. I sprinted, scurried, hell for leathered even, for my prize. And there it was, as beautiful as she is on literally any other round. But I had done it. Oh, round 2 Hell's Retriever. It was about as useful as hammering a drill stuck in the wall. One thing I want to mention, kind of as a postscript message. Afterlives are still afterlives. You do not need to immediately revive yourself once you down yourself with a grenade, because these are low round records. They're not speed runs. Depending on how well you optimized each of your afterlives, there's no reason that you can't go for the plain parts either. Like if you downed yourself before the door leading to the docks, you can turn on the generator room. You could potentially turn on the dock parts as well. A round 2 tomahawk sets you up for a round 4 plane, a round 5 acid gat, and even a round 5 spoon. That means you have a melee weapon, a one-hit lethal melee weapon from rounds 5 to 11. That original exponential curve? Well, let's just say you're going to be calling it different slope entirely. You literally can have the best gear in the entire game Hell's Redeemer, Golden Spork,
Regular live wire, ain't I?
Vitriolic Withering, all set up by like rounds 12 to 13. Insanity. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoy Jailbreaking Mob of the Dead. Have a good one.